Here's a clip from Justin Hollandsworth on hunting mornings in October. There's some great insight here, whether you are a firm believer of hunting Octobers or if you are completely against it. Hope you hear what Justin has to say. Let's get right into it. Here we go. October. It seems people either love it or hate it, and I'm talking about the first part of October, and obviously you're in the category of you love it. So why...
Nope.
Have you always loved early October, or is that something that you
No.
developed a skill set? So, okay, so tell me a little bit about your love-hate or maybe love relationship with October.
So I would go, like, years ago, I would just go, as soon as they rang the bell and you could go and hunt. I mean, I would just go all out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there for a long time, I think not only did I take a lot of opportunities away from myself, but just because I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't understand the value behind timing the hunt and being able to move in on information once, as things kind of develop. I think for a long time, it was you're reading the sign and you're getting pictures of a particular deer or whatever, and you're so eager just to get in there. The timing of a early season hunt is and being patient enough to set back and let some things kind of happen. I think that's one of the biggest keys to it. Has been my experience with it.
So initially you feel probably just too aggressive, like blindly aggressive.
Yep. Yeah. I would because I just wanted to hunt,
Mm-hmm.
so it was, and I would hunt spots and deer that just weren't quite ready to be hunted yet.
Hey,
And
what do you mean by that? And I have an idea what you mean, but just for everyone listening.
so, it's one thing to spot a big deer on a piece of ground in the beans in the summer, and now you're watching him and now he's out of velvet or whatever it might be, and season's getting closer, and 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 then they go through that whole change, which I think that's a lot. That's what's going on right now. You see there's a lot of bucks coming out of velvet. There's still some holding, but there's still, I'd say 50 from my cameras, 50% are out of velvet right now.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
And it's September 7th for reference.
Yes. And I think they go through a weird change at this time. I think they're almost like lethargic, almost, and then there's that 2 or 3 day span when they lose their velvet, where they just kind of go underground, like all of a sudden they're just gone, and then they'll reappear. But I think the big thing is being able to stack a lot of things in your favor. Maybe your glass and I can't emphasize using a spotting scope and binoculars as much as possible. I mean, a camera can only. I love trail cameras. It's
Mm-hmm.
one of the best tools. Obviously, you guys are in the business,
Mm-hmm.
and it is one of the best tools that I think has ever came out. There's been so much stuff that you can learn from a camera, and whether you like cell cams or you don't, you can also learn a lot, because from a cell cam, you're constantly getting that instant information. And for me personally, when I get a picture of a deer on a cell cam or something like that, I like to take and look at, okay, what's the weather doing? What's the, what's the pressure like outside? What's the all the conditions, weather,
Wind direction.
what's the wind doing? Why do you show up over there? Like, you can instantly do that. Where if you pull an SD card, we all tend to just go like this through those pictures, and then we go save as and just dump it, right?
Yep.
And sometimes we don't take it all in, and I think sometimes that's where the cell cam, and if you think that you're going to get a picture of a deer on a cell cam and instantly go in there and then kill the deer. Well, you're mistaken. you're that's it. That's not true. Trust me, I've done it. It's not. I've screwed that up enough times to tell you that those cell cams don't 100% kill the deer. There's no way. But being able to stack a lot of different things into your favor, because an early season hunt, you want it to be a 1 to 2 times strike. The first time in is the best time in. I mean, that's been said a million times. But you want to kind of take a lot of different things in consideration, and just be patient enough to stay out until you see the time is right. And I don't think a trail camera is going to give you that information like a spotting scope and binoculars will.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to give you, there is nothing better to me than to treat an early season bow hunt like a turkey hunt. I treat it like.
What do you mean by that?
I put him to bed. I just seen him. I just put him to bed. Tonight I make my move and slide in that general area where I think he's going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably been the most helpful thing for me. Mm-hmm. As far as like, I just remember when I first started turkey hunting, and I'm good friends with a guy that he's just ate up with turkey hunting. He likes it more than anything. That's his thing. So when I first started turkey hunting, it was mostly with him, and that was always the thing, is to go out in the evenings and we would put these birds to roost.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next morning we would go in, and it was like taking candy from a baby,
Uh-huh.
And I started to think about that. I was like, well, why couldn't you do that with a whitetail? If you could. I don't like I'm not big on hunting mornings early season, just because 9 times out of 10, it just seems like you're going to cross paths with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they know that they're being hunted, like, it is just a complete different ball game. So I prefer to set back in the morning, glass him, do something, then take my set. And this is why it's just so critical to be mobile, because you could hang those preset stands in those known spots. Like maybe it's a known rut spot, or maybe it's over like a food plot or something like that you have. But it's so funny. I have those sets on places I hunt. 9 times out of 10, I still kill a deer out of a stand that I just hung.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.